Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is Kyle and Drew with our sneak peek at next week, episode 218, where Drew and I will go through what's coming to your local comic book shops this Wednesday. But before we get into that, Drew, we've heard some news on the front of Image.
Yeah, some news that I'm not really sure about, first of all. But I also wanted to point out their redesigned section in the previews catalog. Now, I first heard about this because I didn't catch it on my own. I heard about this on Derek's Comics Alternative podcast. If you're not listening to Comics Alternative, check that out if you like the smaller publishers, because they really do a great job over there at Comics Alternative. But anyway, he had mentioned this. They've redesigned their section in previews to where it is by week. It's set up. The comics are in order of the weeks that they're delivering. After the new number ones, of course, they'll still do their new number ones and make a big deal out of those. And then it goes from that to their trades, and they've kind of changed up how they present these things.
The trades seemed kind of mixed in when I remember looking at this. I actually hated it because I caught it right off the bat because I did not like it at all.
And then the thing I like the most is then they have a little checklist. After they finish up their listings, then they have a collected edition checklist and a comics checklist, and that is organized also by the week that the single issues are coming out. So you can just rip this right out and check those off and say, here, LCS, I want these this week, these this week, blah, 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 blah. I think this is brilliant. I actually think this is fantastic, and I would love to see DC, Marvel, Boom, Dark Horse. I'd like to see everybody pony up and do this. Everybody that has a big stable of stuff coming out, I think they need to organize their things this way, because it's really, really user-friendly and helpful for me as a reader to, at a glance, kind of see when the stuff's coming out. And now it's not alphabetical. So, I mean, if you're used to the alphabetical order of things, then you don't get that. It's by week. But I like the way it's laid out, and it really seems cleaner to me. But you don't feel that way.
I did not like it. I thought a lot of things were mixed together, and I was using the previews, as most people do, to just go down and do an order. I mean, you're 2 months in advance. Who cares what week it comes out? More than likely, it won't come out that week anyways by the time you get there. For me, it was disorganized, I had to flip back and forth a lot more than I wanted to, and I'm sure I probably missed something because of it, because, like, the checklist was neat, but I didn't really look at the checklist. I was more interested in the actual solicits and that. So, for me, I'm a bigger fan of new stuff, featured stuff, alphabetical order, the end. I like the old style.
Okay. Well, they followed that up, which was positive for me, not so positive for you, with a press release on phasing out their store variants. They are no longer going to be doing store variants for any of their comics. Mm-hmm. Now, as you read this as well, and now they're still going to do like a Ghost variant or something like that, right?
Yes, they're just not doing the individual ones. Like, we have a Laughing Ogre in Columbus.
Yeah.
And the Laughing Ogre will have a Laughing Ogre cover of things like Witches or Bitch Planet. And it's exclusive to Beach Ball, Laughing Ogre, and one other place. So you can only get them at those specific stores and their specific store covers. So that's what's going away, is the ones that are essentially solicited by stores to have their own feature cover.
Because, see, when I read this the first time, it seemed like they were getting rid of all variant covers and only going to trade paperback variants. Mm-hmm. Because they're saying that it does not help. It only inflates first issue sales and doesn't help the long term success of their series, which of course is true.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's true for not just their stuff, but for all variants. But you're thinking it's not that big of a deal.
It's definitely not that big of a deal. I mean, for the collectors, I mean, they directly in their press release essentially talk about the secondary market, as this was really only for the secondary market and the flippers and stuff like that. But a lot of it was collectors, I think, as well. People that just want to have every cover of something, like with me and Rat Queens. Like, I just have everything they've ever done, essentially. So, I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I think they could have just let it ride. I I think it'll hurt their numbers a little bit.
Oh
because,
God, yeah. I mean, they're not going to have the big launches on number ones unless they are legit launches. You know, and maybe that's good. Maybe that shows the actual health of that comic. But I would think, as a creator, would say, I don't care how I sell 50,000 copies. I just want to sell 50,000 copies because I want that fat cash in my pocket. Mm-hmm. Especially since it's I don't see how they can do that. Why the creators would be on board with this, because, you know, especially some of these celebrity creators, you know, when Scott Snyder does something, I'm sure he has plenty of friends that he has whip up covers for him and stuff, and to really strengthen his comic launch, right?
Yeah.
Why would he want to give that up?
Yeah, I don't understand the logic of it, really. I mean, sure, they're getting rid of him. And they're the only publisher doing it, because, like, when you look at, like, Amazing Spider-Man or Star Wars, or the big Marvel ones that they've done, you know, Midtown Comics versions of every one of those, and they've done all the other comic shops get, you know, 3,000 to 5,000, and that bolsters their print runs and creates interest in those, and it's been good for those individual stores. So I don't really see the harm and why this had to be a thing.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how many variants come out going forward. I mean, if it's just the store variants, like it seems like you're saying that's your interpretation, that it's just store variants.
Yeah,
I think it's less of an impact than it's going to be if they just don't do variants covers at all. That would be, I think that would be crazy.
Yeah, they're still going to do cover A's, cover B's, Phantoms, that kind of stuff. They're just not going to do the Laughing Ogre variant or whatever, which I've seen multiple different ones of.
But I was wondering if they're still going to do retailer incentive variants, though. So will there be 1 in 50s, 1 in 25s? Mm-hmm.
Those are all staying.
Okay,
that's not. Image hasn't really done a whole lot of the like high end 1 in 50, 1 in 100. A few of them, but not a ton of them.
Yeah. Okay.
But just an interesting change to the market yet again.
Yeah, definitely. We should probably flip over to the numbers, and we should probably give you some kudos for calling not only the top 10, but the top 11, all over 100,000 copies. So that's pretty amazing, pretty impressive stuff.
Very much so. So Drew and myself are at Comichron.com. We're into the monthly sales, and we're looking at April 2015 to see what the sales were for all the titles ordered through Diamond for that month. And like I was saying during our sneak peek of the top 10, it looked like these were all possibly over 100,000. Of course, by the end of our conversation, Drew had almost convinced me I was wrong, but as it turns out, a very, very, very healthy month. And the top 11 books, all over 100,000. I think that's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. If you look at the top 10 only, you'll notice the only Marvels that made the top 10 were Star Wars titles. Mm-hmm. Not a single superhero book from Marvel made the cut, which was kind of cool. I guess not a single superhero book that wasn't Convergent made the top 10 from DC. Well, there's a Batman. Yeah, Batman. But yeah, so Convergence was ordered heavy by retailers, and all the Convergence that are in the top 10 are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are all with asterisks. They're all returnable. Mm-hmm. So we don't know exactly. Now they say that when they're marked with it, they had their reported orders slightly reduced because they're returnable. So we don't know how much they've cut off the top. 10%, 5%. Yeah. I don't know that number. But still, I think there's some interesting things in this top 10. First of all, Star Wars, number 4. This is the first issue you really got to order after reading that first issue and getting the actual reader's feedback. And it looks like they've adjusted that up a little. And
it looks like that's gone up quite a bit. There's some variants and stuff, like I was saying. There's some GameStop variants of this book as well, bolstering it a bit in and of that. But this really, really, really emphasizes the fact that number 3 is the book to have in this series, because it looks like it's going to be the low water mark as far as print run's concerned, especially if we see it continuing to creep up 4, 5, 6, and 7 out throughout. Then the most scarce book is by far going to be that number 3, and I'm going to go out and try to search out some more of them.
Yeah, and so that's a 203,000 copies. very, very healthy sales for a number 4 issue. I don't know that we've had a number 4 issue that high. I'd be curious to find out.
Yeah, over 200. No, because Amazing Spider-Man crashed down to just over. I mean, it's still a healthy 100,000 plus, but definitely not to the 200,000.
Not when it was at issue 4. There's no way it was at 200,000. I don't think. But yeah, then we have Convergence Zero, the high water mark for the series at 143,000. Very surprising that the Zero issue is the highest ordered.
Yeah, I think that's very odd.
Yeah, 132,000 for issue number 1 of Convergence. Batman 40, which we had quite a big spoiler in that one, and a very big reveal. That's at 131,000 copies. And that seems low, right?
Well, that sold through already, went to a second print. Diamond Retailers already ordered every one of the second printings, and it's going to a third print already. So, yes, it is low.
We've got another Star Wars title, Darth Vader, number 4 as well, at 123,394 copies. You don't have last month's numbers on Darth Vader, do you?
I do.
Is that up as well?
That's up as well. I think I was talking about... Yeah, I misquoted when I was talking about Star Wars being up. I was thinking Vader 3 is the one to have on that one, because its numbers are up, if I remember correctly.
So Star Wars 3 is not the one to have?
Star Wars 3 is 161,000. So it's trending up, but I don't... Yeah, it's trending up as well, so that's going to be probably their low mark if that trend continues. Vader 3, 85,000.
Wow. So that's the one.
That's the one that that's your first Latha or whatever appearance in it, and it seems like it's very under-ordered, unfortunately.
Nice. Then we have at rank 6, Convergence number 2 at 111,000. Rank 7, Convergence number 3 at 109,000. Then Kanan, the last Padawan, number 1, came in at 108,000. Now that seems healthy to me for a title like that's not as mainstream as the rest of the Star Wars.
Yeah, it's not a character that's going to hook your generation.
Right.
Or really mine shouldn't.
And it's really solid. That's a really solid debut.
Absolutely.
And you loved it. I liked it, and then I really liked the second issue, so that might be going up as well.
Yeah.
Princess Leia, the 4th issue of Convergence, number 9, at 106,000, and then Princess Leia's number 3 comes in at 102,000. Very healthy for that. Surprising. And then Spider-Gwen, number 3 at 102,000 copies. That's a big surprise for me.
Super curious to see what happens in issue 4 when retailers have the ability to trunk their order down a little bit, because the book isn't good.
It's not bad.
It's not good.
Spider-Man knocking right there at the door of 100,000 with 99,964 copies sold. Couldn't sell 36 more. We needed 36 more copies to hit the 100,000 mark. That's awfully close.
Yeah.
And then a $10 Deadpool. Deadpool 45 sold almost 97,000 copies at $9.99 a piece.
$10 a piece.
So of course, by retail rank, this is going to be the highest one. This is even going to make more money than the Star Wars title did. That's a big surprise. That must be like that's some kind of anniversary issue or something.
Yes, that's their 45/250th issue. So that was a big deal.
Anything else jumping out down there?
Nothing down on the 100,000, but we've got Harley Quinn at number 15 and Convergence Harley Quinn at number 17. So looks like the Harley crowd is out in full force this week.
Was Harley delayed?
Exactly. That was a delayed title that bumped into April that was able to be in there for 2 different times.
So there was no Harley in March.
Correct. I don't believe so.
Okay.
Thor number 7, 71,372. I look for number 8 to have a healthier number than that, creep up maybe to 85 or 90.
Yeah, with the reveal of who the female Thor is, I think that'll be a big seller for everybody. Maybe over 100,000. Do you think?
Yeah, kind of reignite that title, and we'll see what it does.
If retailers knew, did retailers know?
They probably went back and ordered some, so I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah. Walking Dead 140 comes in at 66,553 copies sold at rank number 20. Surprised it's a little low.
Yeah, that's I like that better when it's creeping up on 70 and over on that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. Is it losing readers or shows not going on, so retailers are stocking less?
Yeah, I think that maybe it shows kind of it's not on the pulse of the people at the moment.
Yeah. We're starting to get a lot of Convergence titles now grouped together in bunches that rank 22, 25, 26, 27, all selling in the 50 to 60,000 range. And that's Convergence Justice League, Shadow of the Bat, Batman and Robin, Detective. And I noticed these aren't returnable.
Correct.
And these are the ones that I'm seeing languishing on the shelves at my LCS. I don't know if you're experiencing that as well, but these two-shot minis are they're not flying off the shelves.
Mm-mm.
And them not being returnable is going to be a problem.
Yeah, we're going to see those in quarter bins real soon.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Let's see, anything else as we go into the 20s and to the 30s?
As we start into the 20s, nothing else. There's our friend Saga, number 30 right there at 54,897.
Yeah, it's the 27th issue, and sold really well, very strongly. We got the final issue of Batman Eternal that came in at the 39th place with 47,000 copies sold. That was a strong,
pretty healthy, healthy,
strong finish, and it had a lot of cool stuff in that last issue. So that might be a good one to have. Another batch of Convergence, 5 Convergence titles, all at 46,000 units. So it seemed like all the retailers bought the Batgirl, Green Lantern, Justice League America, Flash, and Action, all in about the same numbers. As well as Wonder Woman and Batman and the Outsiders. They were all kind of grouped together there.
Yeah, and not too far behind is the Teen Titans, Suicide Squad, and Food Speed Force.
Yeah. So if there's 2,500 retailers out there, it looks like they all bought, 20 copies each of those.
It looks like it.
And that kind of, in some form or fashion, that's what they put on the shelves. Mm-hmm. We'll see if they sell them all.
That's right. Descender number 2. Keep it in the top 50 at 43,946. It was a bigger than I expected print run for its number 1 issue in March. It was, let me see if I can find it right there. It was 61.9.
That's surprising.
So, still holding healthy, a nice little chunk off of it, but
is that Jeff
still
Lemire?
Enough to make the top 50. Say what?
That's Jeff Lemire, right?
Yes.
It's very surprising how well that sold. I mean, I don't think Trillium did anything like that, did it?
Not at all.
It just must have clicked with people or the solicit.
All new Hawkeye number 2, staying strong at 42,730. I believe that's still trending above what the previous Hawkeye was. Cannot remember the run numbers for Matt Fraction's Hawkeye.
No, I don't. I can't remember either.
Doctor Who 9th Doctor at number 63 with its number 1 comic from Titan Comics. So almost 39,000 for Titan Comics.
Is that
number 63?
Is that an ongoing or going to be a mini? It's probably a mini, isn't it?
More than likely a mini.
More Convergence.
Outcast at number 73.
Yeah.
Still holding strong at 36,000.
Superior Iron Man, which I'm enjoying, is down below 35,000 now.
More people should read that. Really good book.
Really good book. Jupiter's Circle cracks the top 90 with 32,000 copies. This is a sequel to Jupiter's Legacy, the Mark Millar book, and it's okay. Not great.
Now, that Convergence Blue Beetle, is that our last and lowest of the Convergence titles there at number 91 with 32,000?
There's an Infinity Inc. and a Plastic Man down there as well.
That's probably our low one. Is that Infinity Incorporated at 30,114?
Yeah. I think so. So, I mean, really, the Convergence are all selling better than some of the lower-selling ongoings that DC had.
Mm-hmm. And you look for, like, with these, more than likely the numbers are going to be the exact same for the next month, I'd think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because they had to order them that way in advance, and doesn't really give them time to bail out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and more than likely, you're like, what I get of the first one? 20? I get 20 of the second one. It's
Yeah.
more than likely what I think they do.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I sell them, then I've got to be able to sell the number 2s to the same people. Yeah, exactly.
New 52 Futures End, number 48, is at 95 at 31,976. I forgot that title was still going.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had just ended in April. It must have ended like the first week of April or something.
Yeah. Oh, there's my Savior number 1 at 110 at 26,870. A nice little spot for them.
That's a good spot. I mean, it's healthy enough to stick around, and but not too big of a print run.
Mm-hmm.
The second issue of Batman Arkham Knight fell far from its top 5 or top 10 debut, all the way down to 119 with only 25,000 copies. Surprising?
I am surprised by that. Granted, digital first, you never know what that's going to do with it, but I mean, that's a good title with a lot of intrigue behind it. I thought it would stick around and more people would be interested in it.
Yeah. Here's one. The 2 issues of Spider-Man and the X-Men, issues 5 and 6, both sold about 22,000 copies and are down at rank 133 and 132 and 133. That's really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
That title's dead, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, they can't be happy with that number.
No. But it is outselling Moon Knight and Magneto,
Yeah.
which is just by a couple hundred issues, and that's too bad. Those are probably all going to be canceled soon. Those might not all. None of those might make it out of Secret Wars, right?
No.
But those numbers that are selling poorly for Marvel, I think those are strong numbers for Fade Out and Bitch Planet and Run Love Kill.
Yeah, very strong number 1 for Run Love Kill.
All in the 20,000 range. I mean, I think those are good numbers for those as creator-owned books. I think that's sustainable numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your overhead down and just pay a couple of people, a couple of creators. I think they can do that. Uncle Scrooge number 1 relaunched for IDW. It was returnable and only sold 19,000 copies. Yeah, it's an Uncle Scrooge book. Second issue of Dying in the Dead came in at 19,000. It had a big first issue.
Yeah, Rebels for Dark Horse, 19,109. I thought that would be a little higher print run for that, but apparently not as many people as I thought are into American history.
Yeah.
Southern Bastards number 8, 17,473.
Yeah, that's not enough people reading that one either, but that's a really good title. Lazarus 16, selling 15,000 copies. Oh man, I hope that's enough for Rucka.
Yeah.
There's the horrible Injustice Year 3 annual. Did you read that?
I did not.
Oh man, it was, I don't know, it was like wedged from between like issue 8 and 9 or something like that. It was terrible.
Oh, we see at 182 we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing number 44 at 15,895. That is the second print of that sold out issue 44.
Wow.
So the second printing getting 15,895. If you scroll up the number 45, the actual new release, only at 20,180, 158 for that title. So that second print sold like gangbusters.
That's amazing.
And here's one that I think will really... I want to get your reaction on this. Number 206, Star Wars number 1. I believe that's like the 6th printing.
Yeah.
12,756. Another 12,000 Star Wars number 1.
Amazing.
Who does not have that book?
Is that a like action figure variant or something? Or something that would be fueling that much sales?
Nope.
Just reorder activity.
Yep.
Wow. That's massive.
Yeah. Some things that pop out to me here. Rat Queen is number 10, 14,000. Vader number 2 is a reprint, also 11,000. The Tithe, it's number 1 print, 11,851.
Is that the first print of Tithe?
The very first Tithe, yes.
That's really surprising how low that is.
Yeah, I thought it'd be bigger as well. Definitely worth having, so. Really good book. Let's see.
10,000 copies of Big Man Plans number 2.
The 4-issue miniseries. Reorder activity for Princess Leia number 1 at 10,000. Reorder information for Star Wars number 2 at 10,000. So some big numbers for these second prints.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Dark Horse, they never did these kind of numbers, did they?
And no, not even close. I mean, they did when the Phantom Menace hit originally, in that Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that was very fleeting.
But yeah, their line, it never sold like this. That's funny. That's just funny how just putting Marvel stamp on it. I mean, and the creators, of course, it's different.
And the movie coming out, and the interest never being more high. Now everything's canonical, and we have no other prior canon. There's a lot of things weighing into that.
Yeah, a lot of things going in its favor.
Yeah, here at number 263, we get the reason that Alex Aneda's penultimate book is number 14 is because its sales are down to 8,319.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Revival's down under 8,000. Descender number 1's reorder information for a second print of issue number 1 at 7,101. So a second print of Descender doing quite well. Getting better numbers than Postal number 3, sitting right there at 285.
Yeah, or Postal.
Yeah. Forgot Satellite Sam was still a book being created.
And that's probably been out. This is probably it's pushing its third year at this point, and there's only 13 issues that have been out.
Yeah.
So it just trickles out very slowly. War Stories number 7, limping in at less than 6,000 copies.
Yeah.
Letter 44, holy moly, that's outside of Letter 4415 is outside of the top 300. It's at 379 and it only sold 4,300 copies. Boy, how much longer are we going to get this book?
Not too much longer.
I thought they had a lot of stuff to tell, a lot of stuff to tidy up. They could at least go 5 more issues, right?
To give a real ending, yeah.
At least, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of things to tie up. And Scoriers at 477. That was my book of the week, I believe. Scoriers was from Devil's Due, the second issue, 2,500 copies. Ouch! So each store got 1 copy.
If you look at Hoax Hunters 2015, right there at number 440, 3,249, I believe there's some sort of movie deal for that. So that's really low for a number 1 that has a movie deal attached to it.
Oh wow. Interesting. Anything in the top trades that jump out at you?
Well, let's see. Saga 4, 0 Year. Harley still doing good.
I mean, a new volume of Walking Dead. Boom. It's your number 1. It's selling 21,000 copies. There's really nothing even close. Some Ultron stuff trying to capitalize on the movie. Mm-hmm. It's being released and selling. But other than that, it's Walking Dead and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, Drew and I like to look at the numbers and see the print runs on things. That kind of gives us the health of some of our comics, or the rarity of them. Kind of helps us judge a ceiling on what we think our books are and what we can get for them in the long term if we're collecting them or selling them on the secondary market. So that's one of the reasons we like to crawl through that. So
yeah, we got a little feedback on this top 20.
Okay.
This top sales too from one of our listeners, Wade Ledden. He wrote in and said Star Wars is doing well with number 4 still above 200,000. Of course, and I didn't see that many books sitting at my local shops. Big surprise to me is Spider-Gwen. I could see that drop by 60,000 by number 6.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
He's also asking, any chance that Leia, because of its strong sales, becomes an ongoing instead of a miniseries?
I think their plan is to do a bunch of those minis because I think they want to get that one out of the way so they can do Lando, and then get that out of the way so they can do somebody else.
What you want to see next?
Everybody wants to see Boba Fett. Boba Fett's the big one.
Okay.
That's the one that would sell giant amounts of Boba Fett number 1, which is, him out of the Sarlacc pit and what he does after that. That's what people want. I don't know if that's what we're going to get, but that's the big thing.
But you could do a Han Solo, right?
Probably. Yeah. Trying to think if you'd want to... Yeah, I could see that.
Would you do it with Chewie or Chewie on his own?
I think if you're going to do Han, you're going to go back to when he got the Millennium Falcon in the card game from Lando, and right after that.
Obi-Wan?
We've got so much on Obi-Wan with Secret Wars, and all that time during the... not Secret Wars, good lord, it's Secret Wars is ingrained in me with Clone Wars and everything.
How about C-3PO and R2-D2 before.
I would not even read that.
Okay.
That sounds awful.
About Wedge Antilles.
Wedge, Biggs, Porkins. Yes, I will go all Rogue Squadron. And I look for something like that to happen the closer we get to Rogue Squadron actually coming out as a movie.
I think they'll time that out so that.
Yeah, because that Rogue Squadron story is awesome. Just the thought of, hey, remember how we said a lot of people lost their lives to steal the Death Star plans? Well, let's get that story. That sounds great. So hopefully we can tie in some really good stuff to that as well. But yeah, more Star Wars, the better. Crank them all out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll read a Jabba the Hutt for crying out loud at this point.
I would do a Jabba the Hutt.
Salacious Crumb. Let me find out what's really going on there.
I'm down with that, too.
Absolutely. Give me a Mace Windu. Well, maybe not a Mace Windu. All right, Drew, we've successfully seen what happened in April. But now we're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about what's coming up in our local comic shops next Wednesday. So Drew and myself are at previewsworld.com. We're looking at upcoming releases and what's releasing May 27, 2015, the very last week of May. The last week of Convergence.
Hey.
So Drew, let's start where we always start in Dark Horse.
Well, there's a Pastaways, number 3. I can't remember
Pastaways.
I'm not sure if I read number 2. I didn't like number 1 so badly that I don't know if I even read number 2. But then we do have the first issue of Fight Club 2, number 1. I'm psyched about that.
I'm absolutely quite excited for that.
Yeah, that should be good. I'm really looking forward to reading that. But
Yeah, so
nothing else really.
Not a whole lot in Dark Horse, but that is one that intrigues me that I have, I think, 2 copies ordered of Fight Club number 2. All right, Drew, let's head on down. Let's clean up Convergence. Let's wipe it clean. Let's really go out with a bang.
Okay, well, we're going to get the last issue of the miniseries, number 8.
Yeah, number 8. Note the price, $5.
Yeah, of course. And then we're going to finish up Action, Blue Beetle, Booster, Crime Syndicate, Detective Comics, Infinity, Inc., Justice Society, Plastic Man, Shazam, and World's Finest.
Now, your high water mark for these Convergences has been Booster Gold, so you're going to check that one out?
No, I don't care.
Oh, you don't care.
No.
Officially off the train.
Do not
what
care.
What I am going to check out is Effigy number 5.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Big fan of this book, Effigy. Vertigo title.
Yeah, see what else they look at in Ohio, because it's set there. We kind of like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Injustice Gods Among Us, year 4, number 2. Did you get a chance to read the first one?
I did not.
It's okay. The Buccioletto change is really kind of dampening my enthusiasm for this.
I'm still reading these digitally, but I have jumped off the collector's train, and I have the full run of year 1, the full run of year 2, full run of year 3. But I think the writing was on the wall for year 4, so cautiously optimistic with the digital, but not collecting them anymore.
There's a $10 director's cut for Multiversity Pax Americana. Any interest in that?
I have not read Multiversity since the second thing they released, so no interest in that director's cut.
And we have Sandman Overture number 5. This is the 5th issue of Sandman. That the first issue came out in December or November of 2013. So this is 2015, and it's taking its sweet patootie time to come out. My goodness. And then the 4th issue of Suiciders, which is really losing me. I didn't like the last one very well at all. Issue 2 was okay, but issue 3 really wasn't that great.
Yeah, it was okay. I think it's got enough to get me to check and see what's happening in 5, but it's kind of got to do something.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, let's head on down and see what we got with IDW.
We've got another episode or another issue of Fly Outbreak.
See, Previews World is not doing us any flavors. This says Fly Outbreak, which makes me think a lot of fries, but this is actually Fly, the Outbreak is what it should say. So
definitely not helping at all.
Yeah. The Fly Outbreak. All right, let's see. Anything else? Indestructible Stingray, number 1.
Yeah, I was trying to click on that one. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah. Jeff Marsick with art by Luca Regazzoni. It's tough enough being a mutant teenager, but imagine the challenges when you're surrounded by role models driven wholly by power, money, and fame. Kelly, a.k.a. Stingray, finds herself the newest member of the League of Defenders, America's premier super team and most dysfunctional, quote-unquote, family. I kind of sometimes like alternative superhero stuff, so this actually, I mean...
Yeah.
It's worth a dip into. I don't do a whole lot of IDW, so I may give that one a shot.
I don't see anything else that not doing anything for me.
TMNT ongoing number 46. The numbers have been going way, way up for TMNT. Of course, 44, the big issue with spoiler stuff that happened in it. We see 45 went to a second print because the numbers, like I said, are up, and 46 will probably sell better as well. So the writing leading to some additional readership for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the ongoing series. Drew, follow me down to Image Comics.
Well, we've got a comic book league defense fund Elephant Men one shot, which I don't know if it would really be any kind of collector's thing, but
collecting all the special Elephant Men strips from Hero Comics, Liberty Comics, and the Thought Bubble anthology to benefit the Comics Legal Defense Fund.
Yeah, if you like an Elephant Men, pick that up because it's for a good cause. We do have a number one by it's called Material number 1, and it's Les Cott doing the writing with Will Tempest on art, and a cover by Tom Muller. A man comes home from Guantanamo Bay, irrevocably changed. An actress receives an offer that can revive her career. A boy survives a riot and becomes embedded within a revolutionary movement. A philosopher is contacted by a being that dismantles his beliefs. Look around you, everything is material. Sounds wacky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I'm interested or not. Maybe. At least the first one, I'll try it.
Speaking of not sure if we're interested or not, Pisces number 2 caught my eye. Now, Curtis Weeb, Johnny Christmas, 3 weird books all in one. Seems like we don't really know what it was doing or what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you give number 2 a shot?
No.
You're out.
I'm probably out, yeah. I mean, there's just so much stuff on my... It's got to be at least close to comprehensible for me to want to keep with it.
Now I leapfrogged Outcast number 9. You are really teetering on the verge of not reading Outcast after number 8.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I'll probably read this one for sure.
All right, back on the wagon for that. We'll definitely be reading Postal number 4. A lot of things slated to happen in this one, so a really nice issue I'm looking forward to.
We got another number 1 in Sons of the Devil, written by Brian Buccellato with art by Tony Infante. From the New York Times bestselling writer Brian Buccellato and artist Tony Infante comes a psychological horror story about Travis, an average guy trying to get by, who discovers that he has familial ties to a deadly cult. Told across 3 decades, Sons of the Devil is an exploration of cults, family, and the dark side of human nature. It's True Detective and Orphan Black meets Helter Skelter. It's a good combo right there.
No, not really.
I think that's kind of cool. I might check that one out. I know you'll check. I know you'll at least buy number 1. It's a book.
I've got it coming. But like, as far as the Helter Skelter meets Orphan Black, that doesn't move the needle for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. They're Not Like Us, number 6. That thing's just laying there. It's not that great. It's tough to get excited about that or recommend that to anybody else, but I'll probably read that one.
Don't sound too enthused about reading it.
I don't want to bring anybody else in to this thing because it's not that great. That's pretty much it for Image.
All right, let's head on down to Marvel, see what's happening in the wake of Secret Wars. First thing that catches my eye is all new Hawkeye number 3. We really kicked off our adventure with 1 and 2, which in my mind was essentially one storyline. So 3 should really kick off the adventures of both Kate and Hawkeye as they continue their adventure. And hopefully, I'm actually looking forward to them going back in the past and dealing with Bucky. What's his brother's name? Barry. Anyways, the brother.
Barney.
The brother Barney. Thank you.
Jeez,
could not remember. Kind of their origin story with the circus. So looking forward to that.
There's a slew of Secret Wars #1s coming out. I'm really interested in the MODOK Assassin #1. Of all of these, that's the one that kind of sticks out to me, just because he was the main character in Secret Avengers that just ended. I really enjoyed him. This is going to be written by Christopher Yost with art by Amilcar Pena, and so I'm not sure if it's going to be this. Definitely probably won't be the same sense of humor that's in there, but I do want to read a little more about MODOK. There's a Secret Wars 2099, which looks kind of cool, written by Peter David, with art by Will Sliney. So that's going to be a 2099 setting that might be kind of cool.
Old Man Logan #1 is one I'm going to be picking up and reading. I really, really enjoyed that Brian Michael Bendis Old Man Logan story, and it's still a trade that I have to this day that I occasionally pick up and flip back through.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's Infinity Gauntlet. I would think that would be one of the big sellers because of the coming movie and everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people want to revisit that or not.
Yeah, and that movie's actually a ways away.
It's way down there.
Yeah, it's like 3 years away.
Oh, okay. Well, it had a big presence in the Ultron movie.
Oh, absolutely. And we're as the more Infinity Stones that we find, the closer we get. We just, according to the slate, we got a little while and a few more movies to get through before we get into that. All right, Drew. Anything else in Marvel?
Where's Monsters Dwell? I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to look that one up here.
But it's a Secret Wars tie.
It is yet another Secret Wars tie-in. What is that set in? Is that a?
It's Garth Ennis returns to the Marvel Comics proper, and he's bringing the Boys collaborator Russ Braun along with him. Fighter planes and dinosaurs collide in this raucous tale that starts with the classic Marvel character Phantom Eagle and then digs much deeper.
I don't know how that is a Secret Wars tie-in, but
well, these different worlds have to collide and then die. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. And I read the first two comics, so I don't know. I should know more than I do.
One would think. All right, Drew. Here's where your real times are. Let's dig through the back of the book. Some of our smaller publishers, our Boom Studios, our Dynamic Forces, our Oni Presses, and see what we can find back here. Drew, let's start at the top and see where we're going.
We got Curb Stomp #4. Those first 3 issues were pretty good. It's a interesting little voice. That's whoever's writing that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the art's cool. It's kind of a gang versus gang story, and set in a dystopian future, of course, where
there you go,
where they run the show, and it was pretty good. So I'm looking forward to finish. I think this is the last one. I'm finishing it up. Dark Gods is just on #6.
Mm-hmm. That's coming out. That's what it's supposed to be on.
It feels like it's been out a lot longer than that.
Bravest Warriors: Tales from Hollow John #1. This is the book that is in the loot crates.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a $5 book for most of us, but thrown in 200 and some thousand of them are we given away.
You got it. What happens when you flush a pet down the Hollow John? Hint, it fantasizes it was shark instead. Or what if the Hollow John gains sentience and dreams of electric pea? Okay, this sounds weird.
Yeah. Thank God they're giving it away, right?
Yeah, no doubt. That's going to be your #1 book for May, folks.
You think it will be? Over Secret Wars?
You think Secret Wars will sell more than 300,000?
Is that what Loot Crate's up to now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Diamond will count them all?
Mm-hmm.
They'll continue to do that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Kids of the Round Table #1 of 4. It's an Action Lab book written by Robert Tennell with art by Brendan Frame. And it's probably a little all-agey. That's okay. Some of those are good.
Yeah. Hellbreak #3. That's something that Oni Press released at $1 for the #1, and I started reading 1 and 2 there, so I'm looking forward to #3. Print run we went over earlier. Not great on Hellbreak.
Yeah, you read that first one and thought it was pretty good, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a neat little story.
We've got Providence #1 of 12. I mean, at that point, why are you even saying it's a miniseries? Why not just say it's an ongoing? This is an Avatar book written by Alan Moore, the great Alan Moore,
Oh.
with art by Jason Burrows. Of course, we'll have a wrap cover because it's an Avatar book, which I always dig. It's a long solicit here. I'll read it until I get bored.
Okay.
The most important work of 2015 begins here with the long-awaited arrival of Alan Moore's breathtaking epic Providence with his artistic partner, Jason Burrows. In his most carefully considered work in decades, Moore deconstructs all of Lovecraft's concepts, reinventing the entirety of his work inside a painstakingly researched framework of American history. That's pretty much enough, I think.
So H.P. Lovecraft, he's rewriting.
Yeah. He's put a lot of himself into this book, so I guess Burroughs has already spent 2 years doing the art on this, and this could be something cool. I don't know if it's something that you should try to read issue to issue or wait for a trade on, but really interesting. Alan Moore doesn't do a lot of stuff like this.
Yeah, it's true. So, at the very least, I think he deserves to be checked out. So, might as well see what we got there. Surface Tension #1, 1 of 5, from Titan Comics. Months after mysterious corals drew 99% of humanity into the sea, a band of survivors ekes out a hollow existence on a remote British island. When two people are cast up on the beach, completely blue but very much alive, the island is thrown into turmoil. What caused the mass extinction event? How did the two return from the deep when billions died? Most importantly, what is the coral and what does it want with Earth? The oceans have never seemed so threatening. By Jay Gunn. Art, cover, and writing.
Huh.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
Well, this is going to be a tough call this month, or this week, for our locks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you want me to tell you mine?
Sure.
Fight Club #2 from Dark Horse. Fight Club 2 #1. So I'm a big fan of Fight Club as a movie, so I'm very curious as to what they think Tyler Durden is doing now. Is he, happy with a family in suburbia at this point, or what's going on? So, who knows if it'll just be, self-aggrandizing and just a cash grab, but I like that world enough to check it out.
Man, I want to say Providence.
Okay.
I want to say Providence is the one, but I don't know. I don't know if it will be or not. I don't know. That actually might be kind of an under-the-radar thing because of the small publisher. He hasn't done anything in a while. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Providence.
Providence #1, Alan Moore.
Yeah. But then, so that leaves those two Image #1s all by their lonesome. Nobody picked them.
Yeah, we're not picking them, but I have a little more faith in Material than I do Sons of the Devil. But,
right.
Can't go wrong with Image #1s. That's why I pick and get every single one of them, and you sometimes do.
Are you buying just one copy of each of those?
I think I'm just one on those ones.
Yeah.
I think I spent my extra allotment on a couple of the other ones earlier.
I don't even think I pre-ordered that Elephant Man. It must have slipped through my radar.
Crazy. Well, there's some ideas from Kyle and Drew as far as our sneak peek at next week. A couple things to consider while you're walking through your LCS that we think you need to... If they weren't on your radar before, they should be on your radar now, or at the very least, we think you should pick one up and set in that short box for a rainy day when you can maybe make a little bit of money off of it. So we just want to once again say thanks for listening to us. You can find us on different social medias, Facebooks, Twitters. You can find all of that on comicsfunprofit.com. If you're listening to on iTunes, please feel free to give us a 5-star review. Tell people you learn all kinds of new stuff from us and that you really enjoy our podcast, especially when Kyle talks.
Ah.
What do you mean, ha? Anyways. So we once again want to thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. See you.